You might remember that a few months ago, when Democrats were desperately trying to manufacture enthusiasm for Kamala Harris after the coup that overthrew Joe Biden, they held several Zoom calls involving celebrities that were segregated by race and gender. And they were all pretty humiliating, but one of these Zoom calls managed to stand apart above the rest. It was its own category of embarrassing and unwatchable. I'm referring to the White Dudes for Harris video call, which I talked about on the show at the time. It was basically a procession of beta males and washed up actors who simultaneously expressed their love for Kamala Harris and their deep, profound regret for being white. Here's just a mercifully short excerpt of it in case you've wiped it from your memory like everyone else has or would like to. Watch.
Also, quick observation. They have Kid Rock, Kevin Sorbo, and a dolphin aficionado. And we have the Hulk, Samwise Gamgee, Luke Skywalker, and Mayor Pete just on this Zoom. That's pretty damn cool.
Josh Gad did as well, and many more.
What a variety of whiteness we have here. We got the dude, we got Pete. It's like a rainbow of beige.
So I'm pretty sure that's a guy named Bradley Whitford who starred in The West Wing. And as you just heard, he appeared to come up with the term rainbow of beige on the spot to describe all the white dudes lining up for Harris on a Zoom call. Pete Buttigieg, Sam from Lord of the Rings, the dude from Big Lebowski, all part of this rainbow. Now, you might have thought that a rainbow was something that comprised of many different colors by definition. That's like what a rainbow is. But apparently, in this case, we have a rainbow of just beige. He's saying, and I don't know. Maybe Pete Buttigieg makes it a rainbow because he's gay, and LGBTQ activists have co-opted the rainbow for their own purposes. Maybe this is just one of those metaphors that doesn't make any sense. I think it's more the latter. But in any event, rainbow of beige is certainly the weirdest way to refer to a bunch of white people that's ever been uttered in the English language. And not even catchy, it's just a terrible line all the way around. If you were an organizer of this Zoom call, you'd obviously want to forget that the whole thing happened in the first place. But you definitely unequivocally want to make sure that nobody ever uttered the phrase rainbow of beige ever again. It was probably the low light of the single most cringeworthy Zoom call of all time. And I say the most cringeworthy Zoom call of all time, and that includes the one that Jeffrey Toobin attended. But someone out there with a lot of money apparently disagrees with my assessment, and that person or group of individuals has created something called the Rainbow of Beige PAC. Yes, apparently someone on the Zoom call thought the term Rainbow of Beige was so compelling that they started a whole political action committee based around that name. They're raising money and everything else, and apparently one of the lead organizers, a guy named Ross Racketto, used to work for Julian Castro. They have a website at whitedudesforharris.com, which announces, quote, "We know that as white dudes, we have both a strong and positive role to play in America's shared future." And along with the website, they're also releasing political advertisements in an apparent attempt to appeal to other white males with very low testosterone. And I promise you that no matter how low your expectations are for this advertisement, the first one from White Dudes for Harris was released this week. However low your expectations are, it is even worse than that. Here it is.
Hey, white dudes. So I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse, shouting nonsense in their stupid red hats and acting like they speak for us when they don't. All they've ever done is screw us over. But if you're not on the MAGA train, where do you go? Isn't it just swapping out one crappy option for another? Then it hit me. This isn't about picking teams. It's about who's got a plan that's gonna make life better for me and my family. So I've been doing my own research and decided to check out Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And before you jump down my throat, they're actually talking to guys like us. No lectures, no BS. Just real solutions that protect our freedoms and help us take care of the people who matter. And honestly, I think Harris and Walz are the ones to make that happen. End of the day, you're your own man. It's your call. But if anyone gives you crap about it, tell them it's none of their damn business.
So this is an ad that's supposed to appeal to white men, and because it says "damn" and "crap," and that really impresses us. I wasn't sure if I wanted to vote for Kamala Harris. I kind of, I was actually leaning against it, voting for her. If it might shock you to learn. But then they put that ad out and they said, damn and crap. And I said, you know what? These people, they get me. They really do. I think I gotta take the plunge here. So it's an ad for white men, but even the ad that is for men, supposedly, begins by trashing white men. So even in an ad where they're supposed to appeal, they still spend the first 20 seconds like acknowledging that, yeah, some men are terrible. Right, fellas? They can't even just pander to men for a minute. They've got to set aside, a third of the ad for the purposes of trashing men. So other than masochists, that's not going to win over a lot of converts, but it's apparently how Kamala Harris supporters think they're going to win this election. And by the way, it's also because the ad isn't really for men. It's for women. Everything Kamala Harris' campaign does is for women. And so this is an ad that liberal white women will think appeals to white men. It's like basically for a liberal woman who's married, it's an ad that she can see and then go, oh, my husband will love this. This will convince my husband to vote for Kamala. Here, honey, come look at this ad. You'll love this ad. That's really what it's supposed to do. So you can imagine what the comments are below this video, but just for fun, here's a sampling. Quote, is the target audience for this ad gay guys in NYC? Because otherwise I'm not sure if the ad makers have ever met white guys before. Another one says, Democrats, don't be overtly racist for even a single day challenge. Impossible. Then there's this, quote, I am a non-binary, polynormative, racially ambiguous, Wolfkin Satanist, neuroatypical, non-masculine person. Is there room for me in this movement? My wife's boyfriend told me about this excellent campaign, and I want to help in any way I can. I'll be ready to knock on doors as soon as the monkeypox on my face clears up. So they at least they managed to reach that demographic. There's also a bunch of people who seem to think that it's a parody because there's no way an advertisement could possibly be this bad. Quote, I thought this was a parody. LMAO, the Kamala campaign is really bad at this whole making ads thing. One more says, quote, this is a stupid ad meant for misinformed, gullible people who feel shame for being white. It's the definition of racism. The account, The Rabbit Hole, which uploads a lot of charts on X, had one chart for this occasion as well. You can see it here. It shows that young men between the ages of 18 and 29 are fleeing the Democrat Party. As recently as 2016, more than half of young men said that they identify with or lean towards the Democrat Party. Now that number sits at just 39%. So they lost about 12% support in a key demographic that historically has been extremely left of center. And that's obviously concerning to Democrats, which is why they're organizing these Zoom calls and producing advertisements like this. As the organizer of White Dudes for Harris put it on X, quote, we're talking directly to the white men and creating space for folks who've traditionally been ignored by the left. So they do acknowledge that the left is ignoring white people, but that's actually not exactly what's happening, because the left isn't ignoring white people so much as actively demonizing them. It's deriding them on the basis of their skin color at every opportunity. And this ad does exactly the same thing. It explicitly derides them in the beginning, and then the rest of it is insulting and demeaning to the intelligence of white people. You didn't vote for this recession, but you sure as heck pay for it at the pump, at the grocery store, and with that growing stack of unpaid bills. If you're one of millions of Americans being crushed with financial debt right now, the solution is donewithdebt.com. Unlike some of the other guys, Done With Debt has created new, aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done With Debt stands between you and the bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest, and stop penalties. They have a plan to put more money in your pocket on month one and every month until your debt is gone. Best news is that Done With Debt is accepting new clients right now, but you need to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Let Done With Debt hit the debt reset button for you and make your money yours again. But again, this is time sensitive, so you need to visit donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 right now. Chat with one of their debt relief strategists for free. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. So in some ways, white men are finally getting a taste of the patronizing, pandering, explicit race-based and demographic-based pandering that every other demographic group has been treated to for many years from the left. And I think Which is why, after you experience that, it's like, I'd much rather be ignored. Okay. Can you go back to ignoring that we exist as a white man? Just go back to, just ignore that we exist. I'd much prefer that. If nothing else, this ad makes it abundantly clear that Democrats still have no idea how to speak to men. Even when they're trying to appeal to young men, they end up saying that a lot of them are evil because of their skin color. And they say that even though you're an evil white guy, you should vote for Kamala Harris anyway because she can supposedly fix the economy, the same economy that she's effectively been running for the past 4 years. So it's quite a pitch. What's going on here is pretty clear. Democrats like Kamala Harris are trying to shore up their weaknesses among critical demographic groups ahead of the election. They think they're losing badly among these groups in swing states, so they're dialing the pandering up to 11. But it's not something they can really fake. Like, they don't actually know how to interact with normal human beings, whether they're gun owners or young white males, as we saw with the gun owner clip earlier, or whatever it is. So they're coming off extremely patronizing and inauthentic instead. Now, I made this point before, but Donald Trump, he's not popular with gun owners simply because he tells Oprah that he'll personally shoot anyone who breaks into his home, as Kamala Harris said last night to Oprah. He's not popular with young white people because he constantly berates them over their skin color or because he has a lot of washed up actors on his side. Donald Trump is popular because he talks to voters as if they're human beings, not complete morons. Unlike Kamala, he actually believes certain things. He doesn't change his entire ideology in order to win votes. And he shows an authenticity that is like the main thing that resonates with voters, especially the voters that Kamala is pandering to with that ad. The problem is that Kamala isn't authentic, and she also isn't a very convincing actor, and her surrogates apparently aren't much better at the job either. This is why their grand plan to appeal to white men is to talk about beige rainbows and how much white men suck. Even when they're desperate for votes, they still can't hide their disdain. And that is why the White Dudes for Harris, along with every other racially segregated organization promoting Kamala Harris, is today canceled. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.